So good evening, class. My name is Michael George Watkins Jr. to be exact. Um, After doing a little research, I looked on a Social Security website, and surprisingly, I found out that my name during the year of 1991 was the top most popular name for male, which is Michael. Surprisingly, from the website called Baby Center. Now, after doing some reading and looking at the question that asked me, you know, how does it compare to name convention now? I mean, coming from a certain background, the name Michael is kind of typical. It's kind of the norm. It's so many Michaels to it's easily to get me misunderstood as someone else because I'm a junior actually. So you can kind of tell how the naming is how it is pursued in a certain atmosphere. Like for example, me and my brother, my younger brother, I'm 27, just turned 27 August 24th, and my brother he's 2 years younger than me, and we are the only two kids of my mother and my father, and we just had our first sons, and he named his son after me, which is Micah, Micah, and I named my son after him, which is Marcel, Marcel Bakari Watkins. And we have this tradition where when we have family members, like for example, if I have a family member that passes away, we typically name our kids after the fallen of our family. I never really understood why. It's just the stipulation that we are placed on, or it's the typical norm, and we just always do it. And so I noticed that I mean, and then when you look at a guy like me from the southern atmosphere, excuse me, scratching kind of tired. When you look at a guy from me from the southern atmosphere, kind of built, played football, facial hair, like tattoo, from past life, we kind of get placed on these stipulation where the name conviction, excuse me, the naming convictions now are kind of the same way they were back in like a few years or years back. For example, I was reading in Dalton's discussion on culture and media, and I read about when they were speaking about what's the gentleman name? Excuse me. Well, for example, they were speaking about Hurricane Katrina, and they noticed that in the area of Louisiana, you kept seeing a lot of black people on the media because it was mostly black people living there, and you saw a lot of us getting food and things like that to survive, and we was labeled as criminals. So we always kind of been placed up under that stipulation of this of this typical, how I like to use it, upon this typical process of name calling, and it's kind of what's the terminology? It's really my first time being on camera recording video for school. I don't normally kind of going outside my comfort zone, but it's kind of the norm, nowadays. And I also read that, for example, when the O.J. Simpson case, and when they took the photo, also I read in the gentleman's name. He says in Dalton's discussion, he stated that they made the O.J. Simpson complexion like 2 times darker. So if you notice, if you see his mug shot or whatever the case may be, he looked more as a criminal, but without the actual, I don't know, without the actual true history and background of O.J. Simpson. If you didn't know him, you would think he was a criminal based off of that photo. So, I mean, and then, answering the question, it says, what are some of the cultural changes that account for shifting attitudes about gender and names? I mean, I think it's the environment. I really believe it's the environment. For example, being raised where I was from, Dixon's Mills, Alabama. Good luck looking it up on the Google map. Dixon's Mills, Alabama. It's a small country town. It's about 6 miles long. You hear a lot about drugs and a lot of drama. And so when you come from down there and you come from that type of environment, people always label you as ghetto or hood or ratchet or whatever the case may be, because you see a typical guy like me, deep voice, broad structure, kind of have this demeanor that I carry about myself. A lot of people call it pride, but I just call it a little swagger type thing. I mean, I feel like we all have this thing called swagger. It's just a terminology that we use in the southern realm, where basically all it is it's the type of person that you are. Swag is it's a type of demeanor. Some people like to be professional. Some people like to, joke a lot, have fun. Some people like to be about their business, and we just label that as swagger, So I mean, I feel like the cultural changes that I must hold accountable for, shifting the name calling and shifting the genders and things like that, is it's a lot dealing with the environment that you're really placed in, or not necessarily placed in, the environment that you're brought up in, because anything in a certain atmosphere, it plays a major role on the type of name that people place on you, and it's a big stipulation. But I mean, hopefully my video wasn't too hard to understand, and I really do appreciate y'all taking the time to listen to the video, and I pray that we all grow together in this class, and yeah, God bless you. Thank you.